must-start players for Week 13 in fantasy football. These are some guys that probably on the cusp of your rosters right now. We're going to give you some words of wisdom, some confidence in playing these guys this week. So, Jared, who do people need to start this week in their fantasy lineups?
I think you have to be putting Boston Scott in your lineup this week. The Eagles, they've been running the ball at a very, very high pace, 49.7% run rate throughout the entire season, which is the highest in the NFL. And through the last 3 weeks, it's at 59%. Which is the second highest, only behind San Francisco.
Yeah, remember when I told you earlier that Sirianni had like a weird game plan this past week against the Giants, but usually they've been running the ball at a really high rate, and it's been successful. Those are the games that they've been winning too.
Yeah, exactly. It's working really well, and they like to use a committee. They have Miles Sanders, Jordan Howard, Boston Scott, and Kenny Gainwell a little bit too.
Yeah.
But Sanders, he re-aggravated his ankle injury this past week. Jordan Howard didn't play last week. We don't know his status for this week. But if he does play, he could be limited as well, which means I think Boston Scott's going to get the most touches in this backfield this week, and he's got a great matchup. They play the Jets.
Yeah, I think that the thing here is that for Scott, he did have a fumble, and I believe it was just a fumble. I thought there might have been another play, that the one fumble. If this is a situation where the Eagles might not have a choice because, like you said, Howard didn't even practice last week. So I'd be surprised if he plays. And then they're saying Sanders has a good chance to play, but Kenny Gainwell's not involved at all.
Yeah.
Like, there's no worry. If it's just Scott and Kenny Gainwell.
They don't care who it is. They're not giving Gainwell any carries.
Yeah. So it's. I think he's a great play this week.
Yeah, for sure. The Jets, by the way, are the 32nd ranked team against the run.
Yeah, there you go. That's good for people that have Scott. And a lot of people I noticed had the opportunity to pick him up off the wire this week.
Yeah.
So hopefully you did that. I'm going with Melvin Gordon. The Broncos, look, everybody knows about my affinity for Javonte Williams and my love for him. He had a great game last week. He was the RB9 in Week 13, but he was still out-touched by Melvin Gordon. It was only 18-17 for Gordon, so it wasn't a big margin, but it still went to Gordon more often than it went to Javonte, especially in just the rushing attack as well. Gordon was more efficient, 4.9 yards per carry last week to Javonte's 3.9. So it's of course still a split, and this is a really, really good matchup. Sunday Night Football against the Chiefs. Chiefs 28th in defensive rushing DVOA, and then same thing, 28th in opponent yards per carry. They're giving up 4.6 yards per carry. So I really like the matchup for Gordon. I think the split's going to continue, and then as well, the Broncos are looking like they're going to get healthier on the offensive line, which will be good efficiency-wise for Gordon and for Javonte, really. Garrett Bowles and Bobby Massey have both been out, the two tackles on the left and right side, expected to be back this week, according to Fangio. So I think Gordon's a really nice play this week for people who probably, if you drafted him, I think you're feeling good with what you came away with.
I think you got exactly what you could have hoped for. Yeah. And sure, this is a split backfield, and Javonte Williams might be the guy who's making the flashier plays. He's very elusive, one of the better running backs in the league. But Melvin Gordon is just still a great player, and he's able to produce at a high level. And the upside, I found, typically comes from which one of the two gets in the end zone. Yeah. But it seems like every week still, they both have a very solid floor.
Yeah, Gordon 26-18 in red zone rushing carries. So he's
the one who has more?
Yeah. Okay. And then but in terms of inside the 5, they're nearly split. Gordon, I think, was 7 and Javonte was 6. Yeah. But still advantage to Gordon in all these different categories that you kind of are important to me when I'm evaluating players.
Yeah.
So.
Everyone's going to want Javonte Williams to take over this backfield. Yeah. But it's just not going to happen. We have to admit that. Melvin Gordon's going to get his touches to finish out the year and be a solid, I think, RB3 to finish out the year.
Yeah, good matchup, so I like Gordon.
Yeah. My second guy here, I am starting Darnell Mooney for sure this week. Allen Robinson, absolute bust of a season, one of the biggest busts on the year. Mooney, surprisingly, despite that, is performing very well. He's clearly become the wide receiver 1 in this team. Who knows what is even going on with Allen Robinson? Maybe he definitely doesn't want to play for this team anymore. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't even play another game this season. He just decides to sit out the rest of the year, kind of like Kenny Galladay did. Might happen, might not, but if not, I still like Darnell Mooney. His past 3 games, he has 19.1, 20.6, and 15 fantasy points. He's the wide receiver 4 in points per game over the past month.
Yeah, that's good. He's just, I was surprised too. I said this to you this morning that Fields was the leader in average depth of target among quarterbacks. Yeah. So Mooney,
very big bonus for him.
Mooney had a lot of deep balls thrown his way last year that were not into his hands. So he's kind of cashing in this year, especially the last month, like you said.
It's still not great in terms of accuracy. Like he's one of the highest or lowest, I guess I should say, in the accuracy charts. Okay. So a lot of passes that are getting thrown to him aren't very accurate, but he's getting a lot of passes thrown to him.
Yeah.
He has 30 targets over the past 3 weeks.
Wow.
And he's the 7th most targets per game over the past 5 weeks. So he's up there among the league leaders in targets, which is what you want to see. That's how you get the consistency. Good matchup this week against the Cardinals too. The game script should be in his hands. They're probably going to be throwing the ball a lot. I like Mooney to start this week.
Yeah, I would assume Fields is going to be back, right? Rib injury, I wouldn't expect him to miss another week. So.
Yeah. I think even if he doesn't play, I don't mind him with Dalton. We've seen him play well with Dalton the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So no matter what, I'm putting Mooney in my lineup.
Yeah. The absence of Allen Robinson is really, I think there's also some pressure when you come to think of it of, a guy of Allen Robinson's, a reputation of getting him the football and you need to get him involved. That's no longer something that's in either of these quarterbacks' minds if Allen Robinson isn't playing.
Yeah, exactly.
And not just Mooney, but Komet's had a nice 6 weeks or so, I would say too. I was looking at the numbers. He's like top 6 in targets in the last, since week 6, I think.
Yeah, he's actually been a pretty decent flyer at tight end.
Yeah, the two of them are definitely benefiting from Allen Robinson being absent.
For sure.
Okay. This is my last one, and listen to me. If you are desperate at the tight end position, or if you're like me and you are all in on Dan Arnold, rest in peace. Like,
Rip.
Pouring out for my guy out for the rest of the season. That's absolutely brutal. You know what we're gonna do? Because did I believe in Dan Arnold's talent? Not really. Did I believe in Dan Arnold's opportunity? Yes, I did. So we're gonna go with James O'Shaughnessy this week of the Jags going against the Rams. Look. Trevor Lawrence loves the tight end position. The tight end position for the Jaguars has a 21.1% target share. O'Shaughnessy really has this to himself now with Arnold out. So if I'm going to just extrapolate these numbers, 21% target share, the Jags are, I think, top 12 in pass attempts per game, 36.4 pass attempts per game. Here's what I'm going to take from barely passing my functions class in grade 12, but I can still do basic math. 36.4 pass attempts, 21% target share. That equals 7.7 targets a game.
That's a lot of targets.
That's pretty nice for the tight end position.
Yep.
Jared.
Love to see that.
I kind of like that. So I think Shaughnessy is a really solid start this week and could be someone we picked up, and we'll see what happens. Because, again, the affinity is there. And then Jalen Ramsey, obviously, James O'Shaughnessy not drawing the attention of Jalen Ramsey.
Oh, yeah, definitely not.
So I think O'Shaughnessy will be able to take advantage of the fact that, this is a pretty thin Rams defensive roster in the secondary because they've had to spend so much money on these other players. And we saw what the Packers did with their secondary options when Cobb was in the game before he got hurt, and then with Alvis Scantling. I think O'Shaughnessy's in the same boat here. I mean, am I going to take the tight end that doesn't have that sexy name? Yes, because I don't trust Tavon Austin and Laquan Treadwell to.
But Tavon Austin's the new Jamal Agnew.
Exactly. Like, maybe Urban Meyer just doesn't do what I expect here, and that could be the case. But I'm willing to take the gamble here because I think there's just something about the tight end position when it comes to Trevor Lawrence this season.
And hey, the good thing about James O'Shaughnessy, he's probably the only one of these guys that you can get off the waiver wire right now.
Yes, that's true.
Pick him up, put him in your lineup.
True.
If you're desperate at tight end, maybe you had Darren Waller. Foster Moreau, somebody already picked him up.
Or you heard me the last couple of weeks tell you that you need Dan Arnold on your team.
Gotta
damn it.
Make sure you got his handcuff in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like James O'Shaughnessy mainly as like a deeper league, or maybe you're just very desperate at tight end.
Yeah, I picked him up in the dynasty.
Yeah,
league,
if he's available in a dynasty league, for sure.
Yeah, because he came back last week. That was his first game back, and he had 5 targets. So I think there's a good opportunity.
Target's what you need.
Yeah, definitely in my OwnersBox lineup this week. Shit. Do you like what I'm saying?
I like what you're saying.
Yeah, maybe not. Not at least once we're playing it, but that's okay. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. Also, let us know. We're happy to come up with some new ideas in videos. Maybe I can bring in 4 or 5 people's playoff teams, and we can maybe set your lineups for that particular week. So let us know. But thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.